Last Sunday at dinner, my family told me I was nothing special, just a quiet girl who sat there taking up space. Dad said I didn't contribute anything to our family. Mom said I needed to find something I was actually good at. My brother and sister laughed like it was all a big joke. But today, everything changed. Today, Dad's boss called our house. He asked to speak to me personally. He called me ma'am like I was someone important. He congratulated me on something that made my whole family stare at me with wide eyes. How did the invisible girl who felt like nothing become someone the most important people wanted to meet? And what secret had I been hiding in my bedroom that would change everything forever? The smell of Mom's roast chicken should make me happy. It used to, when I was little. Now it just makes my stomach twist into knots because I know what's coming. Sunday dinner, the worst hour of my week. I sit in my usual chair at our old wooden table, the one with the wobbly leg that Dad keeps saying he'll fix, but never does. My chair faces the window so I can look outside while my family talks around me, like I'm not even here. Maya, pass the salt, Dad says without looking up from cutting his chicken. I slide the salt shaker across the table. My fingers are shaking a little, but nobody notices. Dad takes it and keeps talking to Jake about football practice. Coach says if you keep working hard, you might make varsity next year, Dad tells my older brother. Jake grins with his mouth full of mashed potatoes. That would be so cool. Varsity players get the best uniforms. And the best girls, Chloe adds, flipping her long blonde hair over her shoulder. My sister is only a year older than me, but she acts like she knows everything about everything. Mom smiles at them both. I'm so proud of you kids for finding your talents. Kids, plural. But she's looking at Jake and Chloe when she says it. Not at me. I push my green beans around my plate. They're getting cold, but I don't really want to eat them anyway. Food tastes like nothing when your whole family thinks you're nothing too. Chloe, tell us about your audition, Mom says, spooning. More potatoes onto Jake's plate. I got the lead in the school play. Chloe bounces in her chair. I'm going to be Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. That's wonderful, sweetheart, Dad says, finally looking up from his plate. But he's looking at Chloe, not at me. You'll be amazing. I know, right? Chloe says. I was born to be on stage. The drama teacher said I have natural talent. Natural talent. I wonder what that feels like. Jake laughs at something on his phone. Maya, you're being super quiet tonight. What's wrong with you? All eyes turn to me. I feel my face get hot. Nothing's wrong. There's never anything wrong with Maya, Chloe says with a little laugh. She just sits there like a statue. Chloe, be nice to your sister, Mom says, but she doesn't sound like she really means it. I'm just saying, Chloe continues, Maya never does anything interesting. She just goes to school and comes home and sits in her room. What do you do in your room all the time? Jake asks. You're always up there. I could tell them about my drawings, about the sketchbook hidden under my bed where I draw everything I see and feel, about the story I wrote last week that Mrs. Peterson said was really good, but the words stick in my throat like peanut butter. Nothing, I whisper. See? Chloe says. Nothing. Maya does nothing. Dad sets down his fork and looks at me with tired eyes. Maya, you're 16 years old. Your brother made the football team. Your sister got the lead in the school play. What are you good at? The question hangs in the air like smoke. What am I good at? I know what I want to say. I want to tell them about my art, about how drawing makes me feel alive, about how I can put feelings on paper that I can't say out loud. I draw. I say so quietly I'm not sure anyone hears me. Jake snorts. Drawing isn't a real thing, Maya. Like, what job can you get from drawing? Your brother's right, Mom says, cutting her chicken into tiny pieces. You need to find something practical, something useful. Maybe you could try out for a sport, Dad suggests. Or join a club, something that looks good on college applications. I like drawing, I say a little louder this time. Drawing is fine as a hobby, Dad says. But you need to figure out what you're actually good at. Right now, you're just… He stops himself. Just what? I ask. Dad looks uncomfortable. You're just there, Maya. You exist, but you don't really contribute anything. The words hit me like a slap. Just there. Just existing. Not contributing anything. I stare down at my plate. The chicken looks dry and sad. Everything looks dry and sad when your own father thinks you're worthless. Maya's not worthless, Mom says quickly, like she can read my mind. She just needs to find her thing. Everyone has a thing. What if I don't have a thing? The words slip out before I can stop them. Everyone has a thing, Jake says. You just haven't tried hard enough to find yours. Maybe you could try drama, Chloe suggests. Though you'd have to learn to speak up. Nobody can hear you when you talk. Or maybe art class, Mom says. You said you like drawing. I take art class. I tell them. Mrs. Peterson says I'm good at it. Mrs. Peterson has to say that. Chloe rolls her eyes. She's your teacher. Dad picks up his water glass. Maya, the point is, you need to find something you're passionate about. Something that makes you special. Because right now, he doesn't finish the sentence, but I know what he's thinking. Right now, I'm nothing special. We finish dinner in silence. Well, mostly silence. Jake and Chloe keep talking about their friends and their activities. Mom and Dad ask them questions and laugh at their stories. Nobody asks me any questions. Nobody wants to hear my stories. After dinner, I help Mom clear the table. It's the one thing I always do, and she never thanks me for it. I scrape the plates, carefully and stack them by the sink. Maya, Mom says as she wraps up the leftover chicken. We just want what's best for you. I know. You're a good kid. You just need to find your confidence. I nod, but I don't think confidence is something you can find. I think it's something other people give you, and my family doesn't have any extra to spare. I wash each plate slowly, making sure they're perfectly clean. Maybe if I do a really good job, Mom will notice. Maybe she'll say thank you or tell me I'm helpful. She doesn't notice. She's already moved on to wiping down the counters. In my room, I close the door and lean against it. The house feels too small and too big at the same time. Too small for all my feelings, too big for how invisible I am. I pull my sketchbook out from under my bed. It's just a cheap notebook from the drugstore, but it's mine. The pages are filled with drawings of everything I see. Trees outside my window, kids at school, my family at dinner. I flip to a fresh page and start drawing what happened tonight. I draw our dinner table with 5 chairs around it. In 4 of the chairs, I draw solid, real people. Mom, Dad, Jake, and Chloe. They're all looking at each other, talking and laughing. In the 5th chair, I draw a girl, but she's see-through, like a ghost. She's reaching for a glass of water, but her hand passes right through it. She's trying to speak, but no words come out of her mouth. The drawing shows the truth. At our dinner table tonight, there were only 4 people. The 5th chair might as well have been empty. I close the sketchbook and slide it back under my bed. Tomorrow is Monday, and I have to go to school and pretend everything is fine. I have to sit in classes and eat lunch alone and walk through hallways where nobody sees me. But maybe that's okay. Maybe being invisible is just who I am. I turn off my light and lie in bed, listening to my family move around downstairs. I can hear them laughing about something on TV. They sound happy without me. Outside my window, the moon is bright and full. It looks like it's watching me, like it sees me even when nobody else does. At least you see me, I whisper to the moon, and for just a moment, I don't feel completely alone. Monday morning starts like every other day. Mom makes scrambled eggs and toast for Jake and Chloe. I pour my own cereal and eat it standing by the counter. Maya, hurry up, Dad calls from the hallway. I'm dropping you off today. This is weird. Dad never drives me to school. He usually leaves for work before I even wake up. I grab my backpack and follow him to the car. Why are you driving me? I ask as we back out of the driveway. I have an early meeting, Dad says. Figured I'd kill 2 birds with 1 stone. In the car, Dad's phone rings through the speakers. Hello, Mr. Harrison, Dad says in his work voice, the voice he uses when he wants to sound important. Good morning, Robert, says a deep voice. I hope you're ready for today's presentation. Dad's hands tighten on the steering wheel. Yes, sir. I've been working on it all weekend. Excellent. This client could be huge for our company. If we land this deal, there might be a promotion in it for you. That would be wonderful, Mr. Harrison. I won't let you down. I know you won't. See you at 9. When the call ends, Dad looks stressed. His jaw is tight and he keeps checking the clock. Big meeting? I ask. The biggest, Dad says. Mr. Harrison is bringing some very important people to the office today. If this goes well, it could change everything for our family. I want to ask what that means, but Dad turns up the radio. The rest of the ride is quiet except for the news talking about traffic and weather. At school, I walk to my locker alone. Kids push past me in the hallway like I'm not there. I'm used to it. Being invisible at school is just like being invisible at home. In math class, I sit in the back and try to focus on equations. But I keep thinking about Dad's phone call. What if he gets promoted? What if things really do change for our family? During lunch, I sit at my usual table in the corner of the cafeteria. I pull out my math homework and try to look busy so nobody thinks I'm sitting alone because I have no friends. Which I don't, but it's embarrassing anyway. Maya? I look up. Mrs. Peterson, my art teacher, is standing next to my table with her lunch tray. Mind if I sit? She asks. Sure, I say, surprised. Teachers don't usually eat with students. Mrs. Peterson sits down and opens her salad container. How are you doing today? Fine, I say automatically. Really? She gives me a look that says she doesn't believe me. You seemed a little sad in art class on Friday. Mrs. Peterson is the only teacher who really looks at me. She has kind eyes behind her glasses and always wears colorful scarves that make her look artistic. I'm okay, I say. Just tired. Maya, can I ask you something? Sure. Why do you always sit alone at lunch? My face gets hot. I don't know. I guess I just like the quiet. Mrs. Peterson nods. I understand that, but, some of the most interesting people are quiet ones. They see things other people miss. What do you mean? Artists are observers, she says. We watch the world and then show other people what we see. Your drawings show me that you notice everything. My heart does a little jump. You really think my drawings are good? I think they're more than good. I think they tell stories. Mrs. Peterson finishes her salad and looks at me seriously. Maya, have you ever thought about entering the state art contest? What's that? It's a competition for high school students across the whole state. The winner gets a scholarship to summer art camp and their artwork displayed in the state capitol building. The state capitol building, where important people work, where the governor goes. When is it? I ask. Entries are due next month. You'd need to submit 3 pieces that show your artistic voice. My artistic voice? The thing that makes your art special. The way you see the world that nobody else does. I think about my sketchbook hidden under my bed. All those drawings of feeling invisible, feeling small, feeling like nobody sees me. What if my artistic voice isn't good enough? I ask. Maya, look at me. Mrs. Peterson waits until I meet her eyes. Your voice matters. Your perspective matters. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. The bell rings, and lunch is over. As I pack up my things, Mrs. Peterson touches my shoulder. Think about the contest, okay? I really believe you could win. In art class that afternoon, Mrs. Peterson gives us a new assignment. I want you to draw something that shows who you are, she says. Not what you look like, but who you are inside. I stare at my blank paper for a long time. Who am I inside? I'm the girl who feels invisible. The girl who sits in the corner. The girl who doesn't matter. I start drawing without really thinking about it. My pencil moves across the paper like it has its own mind. I draw a girl sitting at a dinner table, but something's wrong with her. She's see-through, like a ghost. Around her, solid people eat and laugh and talk. The girl tries to reach for a glass of water, but her hand goes right through it. I keep drawing, adding details. The girl's mouth is open like she's trying to speak, but no words are coming out. Her eyes look sad but hopeful, like she's waiting for someone to notice her. Maya. Mrs. Peterson's voice makes me jump. I didn't hear her walking over. She's looking at my drawing with wide eyes. This is powerful. It's just a drawing, I say quickly. No, it's not just a drawing, it's a story. It's a feeling that every person has experienced at some point. Really? Really? Maya, this is exactly what I mean about your artistic voice. You can take a feeling that's hard to put into words and make it visible. Mrs. Peterson sits down next to me. Can you tell me about this drawing? It's about feeling like you don't exist, I say quietly. Like you're there, but not really there. Like you're invisible. Have you felt this way? I nod. All the time. Maya, this is the kind of art that changes people. This is the kind of art that makes people feel less alone. She pauses and looks at me seriously. I want you to consider entering this in the contest, along with 2 other pieces that explore the same theme. You really think it's good enough? I think it's extraordinary. After school, I walk home, instead of taking the bus. I need time to think about what Mrs. Peterson said. The state art contest, my extraordinary drawing, my artistic voice. At home, I go straight to my room and pull out my sketchbook. I look at all my drawings with new eyes. Maybe they're not just pictures. Maybe they're stories. I start planning my contest entry. The first piece will be the invisible girl at dinner. The second will be something about school, about feeling alone in crowded hallways. The third, I'm not sure yet. From downstairs, I hear Dad's voice. He's on the phone again, talking in his excited work voice. Yes, Mr. Harrison, that's wonderful. News! Thank you so much for this opportunity. I can hear Mom asking questions, and then both of them talking in happy, excited voices. When Dad calls us for dinner, everyone looks cheerful. Dad has a big smile on his face. I have good news, he announces as we sit down. The presentation went perfectly. We got the client, and Mr. Harrison is promoting me to regional manager. Mom gasps and hugs Dad. Jake and Chloe cheer. What does that mean? Jake asks. It means more money, better benefits, and we can finally move to that nice neighborhood we've been talking about, Dad says. Move? I ask. To Riverside, Mom says. Better schools, better opportunities for you kids. Better schools. That means leaving Mrs. Peterson, leaving the art contest, leaving the one place where someone believes in me. When would we move? Chloe asks. Probably over winter break, Dad says. You'll start at your new schools in January. January. The contest results won't be announced until February. My stomach drops. What if I enter the contest but we move before I find out if I won? What if I have to start over at a new school where nobody knows about my art? Maya, you'll love Riverside Academy, Mom says. They have an amazing art program. But I don't want an amazing art program. I want Mrs. Peterson. I want someone who sees my extraordinary drawings and believes in my artistic voice. After dinner, I go back to my room and stare at my invisible girl drawing. Maybe I should enter the contest anyway. Maybe Mrs. Peterson is right, and my voice matters. Maybe being invisible has taught me to see things other people miss. Maybe that's exactly what makes my art special. I pick up my pencil and start working on my second contest piece. This one shows a school hallway, full of kids looking at their phones, talking to friends, rushing to class. In the middle of all the chaos, one girl stands perfectly still. She's not invisible this time. She's solid and real. But she's alone, watching everything around her. She's the observer, the one who sees. Maybe that's not such a bad thing too. Tuesday feels different from the moment I wake up. Maybe it's because I have a secret now, the art contest. Maybe it's because for the first time in forever, I have something that's just mine. At breakfast, Dad paces around the kitchen with his coffee cup. His hair is messier than usual, and he keeps checking his watch every few minutes. "You're making me nervous," Mom says, packing Jake's lunch. She never makes my lunch. "Sorry, it's just, this promotion changes everything. Mr. Harrison wants me to meet with the big bosses from corporate today." "That's exciting," Mom says, but she looks worried too. Jake looks up from his phone. "Does this mean we get more money?" "It means better opportunities for everyone," Dad says. He looks at Jake and Chloe when he says this, not at me. Better house, better schools, better future. Chloe flips her hair and grins. "I can't wait to see Riverside Academy. I heard they have the best drama program in the state. And the football team is amazing," Jake adds. "I might actually have a chance at a scholarship." I eat my cereal quietly, thinking about Mrs. Peterson and the contest. What if the new school doesn't have a teacher who believes in me? What if I'm invisible there, too? At school, I can't focus in any of my classes. In math, I sketch ideas for my second contest drawing in the margins of my notebook. In history, I imagine my art hanging somewhere important where lots of people would see it. During lunch, I sit alone, like always. But today, I don't mind so much. I use the time to plan my third drawing. It needs to show hope somehow. Growth. The idea that being different isn't always bad. "Maya?" I look up, surprised. It's Sarah Chen from my English class. She's standing next to my table with her lunch tray looking nervous. Can I sit here?" she asks. I blink. Sarah has never talked to me before. She's quiet like me, but she seems to have friends. At least I've seen her sitting with other people sometimes. "Sure," I say, moving my backpack off the chair next to me. Sarah sits down and opens her lunch bag. For a minute, we both eat without talking. It's not awkward, though. It's comfortable. "I saw your drawing in art class yesterday," Sarah finally says. "The invisible girl at the table." My face gets warm. "Oh, that." It made me feel understood, she says quietly. "Really?" Sarah nods and looks down at her sandwich. "I feel invisible too sometimes. Like, I'm here, but nobody really cares what I think or feel." I can't believe it. Sarah Chen, who seems so put together and normal, feels the same way I do. I thought I was the only one, I admit. "You're not." Sarah looks up at me. "My parents want me to be a doctor. They have my whole life planned out. But I love writing poetry. I write about feeling small and unheard." "Poetry? Yeah, it's probably stupid." "It's not stupid," I say quickly. "Art is art, right? Whether it's drawing or writing." Sarah smiles, for the first time. "Exactly. What do you love about drawing?" "I love that I can put feelings on paper that I can't say out loud," I tell her. "Like, when I draw how I feel, it makes the feeling real somehow." "Yes, that's exactly how I feel about writing." We talk for the rest of lunch about feeling invisible. about being quiet kids in a loud world. Sarah tells me about how her parents expect perfect grades and perfect behavior. I tell her about family dinners where nobody listens to me. You know what's funny? Sarah says as we pack up our things. We're both right here, talking to each other, but we both feel invisible. Maybe invisible people can see each other better, I say. Maybe we're not invisible at all. Maybe everyone else just isn't looking hard enough. Walking to my locker after lunch, I feel something I haven't felt in a long time. I feel less alone. Sarah's words echo in my head. Maybe everyone else just isn't looking hard enough. In art class, Mrs. Peterson has us working on our identity drawings from yesterday. I look at my invisible girl and start adding something new. I draw another figure in the background, a second girl who can see the invisible. The second girl is reaching out her hand like she wants to help. That's an interesting addition, Mrs. Peterson says, looking over my shoulder. I met someone today who understands how the invisible girl feels, I explain. Sometimes the best cure for feeling invisible is finding someone who sees you. Mrs. Peterson pulls up a chair next to my easel. Maya, I've been thinking about what we discussed yesterday, the art contest. I've been thinking about it too. And? I take a deep breath. I want to do it, even if we're moving in January. Mrs. Peterson smiles. I'm so glad. What's your plan? 3 drawings about feeling invisible, but also about finding your voice. The first one is the dinner table. The second is about school, feeling alone in crowded places. The third, I pause, thinking. The third should be about hope, about not being invisible anymore. That sounds perfect. Maya, what you're describing isn't just art. It's a story that will help other people feel less alone. After school, I walk home slowly. The October air is getting colder, and leaves crunch under my feet. I think about Sarah and how surprised I was that she feels invisible too. Maybe lots of people feel this way. Maybe my drawings could help them. At home, I find Dad in the living room with a stack of papers spread out on the coffee table. House. Hunting, he explains when he sees me looking. Want to see some of the places we're considering? This is the first time Dad has asked for my opinion about anything in months. I sit down next to him on the couch. He shows me pictures on his laptop of big houses with perfect lawns and 3-car garages. They all look the same to me, like houses from a magazine where pretend families live perfect lives. This one has 4 bedrooms, Dad says, clicking through photos. You'd have your own bathroom. That's nice, I say. And look at this one. It has a swimming pool and a huge backyard. The houses are beautiful, but they don't feel like homes. They feel like places where invisible girls like me would get even more lost. What do you think? Dad asks. They're really nice, I say, because that's what he wants to hear. This move is going to be great for our family, Maya. New opportunities. For everyone. Fresh start. I want to tell him about the art contest, about how Mrs. Peterson believes in me, about Sarah, and how I finally found someone who understands. But Dad is already clicking to the next house listing. That night at dinner, Mom and Dad talk about the move. Jake is excited about the sports programs at his new school. Chloe can't stop talking about the theater department. Maya, you'll love the art facilities at Riverside Academy, Mom says, passing me the potatoes. They have a real studio with professional equipment. That sounds great, I say, but my voice sounds flat even to me. What's wrong? Chloe asks. You should be happy. You're getting a fresh start. A fresh start, like there's something wrong with who I am now. I like my school, I say quietly. Your current school is fine, Dad says, but Riverside Academy is much better. Better teachers, better programs, better students to learn from. Better students. Like I'm not good enough for the better students. Maya, Mom says gently, Change can be scary, but this is a good thing. Trust us. After dinner, I go to my room and look at my contest drawings again. Mrs. Peterson said they were extraordinary. Sarah said my invisible girl drawing made her feel understood. Maybe I'm not nothing after all. I spend the evening working on my contest application essay. The prompt asks, how does your art reflect who you are? I write about feeling invisible and using art to make sense of the world. I write about how being quiet has taught me to observe, how being overlooked has taught me to see beauty in small details. I write about finding my voice through drawing. When I finish writing, I read the essay over. It's honest and real, maybe the most honest thing I've ever written about myself. Tomorrow, I'll keep working on my second drawing, the one about feeling alone in crowded places. I want to show how being invisible can actually be a superpower. It lets you see things other people miss. As I get ready for bed, I think about Sarah and our conversation at lunch. For the first time in my life, someone my own age understands how I feel. Maybe I'm not as invisible as I thought. Maybe I just needed to find the right person to see me. And maybe, just maybe, my art can help other invisible kids feel less alone too. Wednesday night, I can't sleep. Tomorrow I'm going to ask Mrs. Peterson about officially entering the contest. My 3 drawings are hidden under my bed, and I keep getting up to look at them. The invisible girl at the dinner table stares back at me in the moonlight. She looks sad but hopeful, like she's waiting for someone to finally notice her. Maybe that someone is me. Thursday morning, I wake up early and carefully put my drawings in a folder. My hands shake a little as I zip my backpack closed. Today feels important, like everything might change. At breakfast, nobody notices that I'm nervous. Dad is on the phone with someone from his new job. Mom is making lists of things we need to do before the move. Jake and Chloe are arguing about who gets to pick the first bedroom in our new house. I eat my cereal in silence, thinking about how this might be one of my last mornings in this kitchen. Soon we'll be eating breakfast somewhere else, and I'll die. Still be invisible. Maya, you're being extra quiet today, Mom says, not looking up from her list. Just thinking, I say. About the move? Are you excited? Sure, I lie. At school, I go straight to the art room. Mrs. Peterson is there early, organizing supplies for the day. Maya, she says when she sees me, you're here bright and early. I wanted to talk to you about the contest, I say, pulling out my folder. Mrs. Peterson's eyes light up. You decided to enter? I think so. I brought my 3 pieces. Mrs. Peterson clears a space on her desk, and I carefully lay out my drawings. She looks at each one for a long time, not saying anything. The first drawing shows the invisible girl at the dinner table. The second shows a school hallway full of busy students with one girl standing still in the middle, watching everything. The third drawing is new. It shows the same girl, but now she's sitting by a window, drawing in a sketchbook. Outside the window, the world is busy and loud, but inside, the girl looks peaceful and focused. She's creating something beautiful. Maya, Mrs. Peterson finally says, these are extraordinary. Really? Really? This first one breaks my heart. The second one shows the loneliness of being different. And this third one, she picks up my newest drawing. This shows hope, growth. It shows that being different can be a strength. My heart pounds. Do you think they're good enough for the contest? I think they're good enough to win. Mrs. Peterson pulls out a stack of official contest forms. The deadline is next Friday. We'll need to fill these out and write an artist statement. What's an artist statement? It's where you explain your artwork, what inspired you, what you want people to understand when they look at your drawings. We spend the next hour filling out paperwork. I write about feeling invisible and using art to tell me story. I write about how quiet kids see things that loud kids miss. Maya, Mrs. Peterson says as we finish, I need to tell you something. What? I called your father yesterday. My stomach drops. You did? I called the school office to ask about your transfer paperwork, and I mentioned the contest to the counselor. She gave me your father's work number. What did you tell him? I told him that you have exceptional artistic talent. I told him about this contest and how proud I am of your work. I can't believe it. Mrs. Peterson talked to Dad about my art? What did he say? He seemed surprised. He said he didn't realize how talented you were. Maya, I think your father wants to support you. He just doesn't know how. All day I think about what Mrs. Peterson said. Dad seemed surprised about my talent. Maybe he really doesn't see me because he doesn't know what to look for. At lunch, Sarah sits with me again. She's becoming a real friend, which still feels weird and wonderful. How's your contest entry going? She asks. I submitted the paperwork today, I tell her. That's amazing. I'm so proud of you. Mrs. Peterson called my dad to tell him about it. Sarah's eyes get wide. Really? What happened? I don't know yet. She said he seemed surprised that I was good at art. Maybe he'll finally see how talented you are. Maybe. I take a bite of my sandwich. What about you? Are you going to submit any of your poems somewhere? Sarah looks down at her apple. There's a state writing contest, but I'm scared. Scared of what? Scared that my parents will think it's a waste of time. Scared that I'm not good enough. I look at Sarah, smart, kind Sarah who writes beautiful poetry about feeling invisible. You are good enough. And if I can be brave enough to enter an art contest, you can be brave enough to enter a writing contest. You think so? I know. So. After school, I walk home slowly. The autumn leaves are falling faster now, covering the sidewalk in orange and yellow. Everything feels like it's changing. At home, I find Dad in the living room with Mr. Harrison, his boss. I've never seen Mr. Harrison in person before, but I recognize his voice from Dad's phone calls. Maya, Dad says when he sees me, come meet Mr. Harrison. Mr. Harrison is a tall man in an expensive suit. He looks important and serious, like someone who makes big decisions. So this is your daughter, he says, shaking my hand. Nice to meet you, Maya. Nice to meet you too, sir, I say. Your father tells me you're quite the artist, Mr. Harrison says. I look at Dad, shocked. When did he tell Mr. Harrison about my art? She's very talented, Dad says, and his voice sounds proud. Always drawing, always creating, something new. This is the first time I've ever heard Dad say anything positive about my art. My throat feels tight. That's wonderful, Mr. Harrison says. Creative people see the world differently. That's a valuable skill in any field. Maya just entered a state art contest, Dad says. My mouth drops open. How does Dad know about the contest? Dad sees my surprise and smiles. Your art teacher called me. Mrs. Peterson says your work is exceptional. She really said that? She said a lot of things. She said you have a unique artistic voice and that your drawings tell powerful stories. Mr. Harrison looks impressed. A state contest? That's quite an honor just to be selected. I don't know if I'll win, I say. Win or lose, you had the courage to try, Mr. Harrison says. That's what matters most. After Mr. Harrison leaves, Dad and I sit in the living room together. This might be the first time. We've been alone in years. Maya, I owe you an apology, Dad says. For what? For not paying attention to your art. For not seeing how talented you are. My chest feels warm and tight at the same time. You really think I'm talented? Mrs. Peterson spent 20 minutes on the phone telling me about your artwork. She says you see things other people miss and put those feelings into your drawings. Dad puts his arm around me. I'm sorry if I ever made you feel like your art didn't matter. It's okay, Dad. No, it's not okay. You're my daughter and I should have been paying attention. He looks at me, seriously. No matter what happens with the contest, I want you to keep drawing. Promise me. I promise. And Maya, I'm proud of you for entering this contest. That takes real courage. That night at dinner, Dad tells everyone about my contest entry. Maya's art teacher says she has exceptional talent, Dad announces. Jake looks up from his phone, actually interested. Really? That's cool, Maya. I didn't know you were so good at art, Chloe says. Can I see your drawings sometime? Sure, I say, surprised by how normal this feels. Mom smiles at me from across the table. I'm proud of you for entering the contest, honey. For the first time ever, my family is looking at me, really looking at me, seeing me. I don't know. If I'll win, I say. You already won something important, Mom says. You found something you love and you're good at it. After dinner, I go to my room and start a new drawing. This one shows a family sitting around a dinner table, and everyone is solid and real, including the girl in the 5th chair. She's not invisible anymore. She's part of the conversation. As I draw, I think about how much has changed in just 1 week. I found a friend in Sarah. I found courage to enter the contest. I found out that Dad actually does see me. He just needed help knowing where to look. The contest results won't come for months, but I already feel like I've won something important. I've won my family back, and most importantly, I've won myself. November. Passes in a blur of packing boxes and school transfer paperwork. Every day, I wonder about the contest, but I try not to think about it too much. Mrs. Peterson says results won't come until February. That feels like forever away. Sarah and I spend more time together now that we both know we're moving soon. She's moving, too. Her dad got a job in another state. At least we'll both be starting over, she says as we sit in the art room during lunch. Maybe being the new kid won't be so scary. Maybe, I say, but I'm worried about leaving Mrs. Peterson and starting over at a school where nobody knows me. Have you heard anything about the writing contest? I ask. Not yet. Results come out the same time as yours, February. Mrs. Peterson joins us at our table. How are you two doing with all the moving preparations? Nervous, Sarah admits. What if I'm invisible at my new school too? You won't be, Mrs. Peterson says firmly. Both of you have found your voices. You won't lose them just because you change schools. But what if the new teachers don't understand my art? I ask. Then you'll help them understand, Mrs. Peterson says. Maya, you've learned that your perspective matters. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. At home, our house is slowly disappearing into cardboard boxes. Mom packs up the kitchen. Dad sorts through his office papers. Jake and Chloe pack their rooms. I save my art supplies for last. I can't bear to pack them yet. One evening, Dad finds me in my room, staring at the blank walls where my drawings used to hang. Feeling sad about the move? He asks, sitting on my bed. A little, I admit. Dad is quiet for a moment. You know, I was thinking about what Mr. Harrison said, about creative people seeing the world differently. What about it? Maybe that's why you were so quiet at family dinners. You were seeing things the rest of us missed. I think about this. Maybe. What did you see that we didn't? Dad asks. I consider lying, giving him an easy answer. But I decide to be honest. I saw that everyone else had their own things. Jake had sports, Chloe had theater, you and Mom had work. But I didn't have anything that was mine. So I felt like I didn't belong. Dad is quiet for a long time. I'm sorry, Maya. We should have worked harder to find out what made you special. It's okay, I say. I found it myself. Yes, you did, and I'm proud of you for that. December arrives with our first snow. The moving trucks are scheduled for the week after Christmas. At school, Mrs. Peterson organizes a small farewell party for Sarah and me. Some of our classmates come and they say nice things about our art and writing. "I never knew you were so talented," one girl tells me. "I wish I'd talked to you more." After everyone leaves, Mrs. Peterson gives me a wrapped package. "Don't open it until you get to your new school," she says. "And Maya, keep in touch. I want to hear about everything, the contest, your new art classes, all of it." "I'll miss you," I say, and I start to cry. "I'll miss you too. But I'm not worried about you anymore. You know who you are now." Our last day in the old house is December 30th. As the movers load the truck, I walk through the empty rooms one more time. In the kitchen, I stand where our dinner table used to be. I remember all those nights feeling invisible, feeling like nothing. But I also remember the night Dad told Mr. Harrison about my art, the night my family finally saw me. Maybe home isn't about the house. Maybe it's about the people who see you for who you really are. In the car on the way to our new house, I think about the contest. The results will be announced in 6 weeks. Either way, I'll be at a new school when I find out. Our new house is everything Dad promised. Bigger, newer, better. My new room has huge windows and perfect light for drawing. "Do you like it?" Mom asks as we stand in my empty room. "It's beautiful," I say, and I mean it. "You can set up your art corner by the window," Mom suggests. "The light will be perfect for drawing." That night, I unpack my art supplies and set them up in the corner by the window. I pull out a fresh sheet of paper and start drawing. I draw our old kitchen table with 5 chairs around it. But this time, all 5 chairs have solid, real people sitting in them. The 5th person, me, is no longer invisible. As I draw, I think about starting at Riverside Academy in 3 days. I'm nervous, but I'm not the same girl who felt invisible at family dinners. I'm Maya, and I'm an artist. I have something to say, and I know how to say it. Win or lose, the contest has already changed me. I learned that being quiet doesn't mean being nothing. I learned that seeing the world differently is a gift, not a problem. I learned that sometimes you have to make yourself visible. Tomorrow, I'll finish unpacking. The day after that, I'll start my new school, and in 6 weeks, I'll find out if my art is good enough to hang in the state capitol. But tonight, I'll just draw. Because that's who I am now. The girl who draws her truth and isn't afraid to show it to the world. My phone buzzes with a text from Sarah. "How's the new house?" "Different, but good," I text back. "How's your new city?" "Scary, but exciting." "Are you nervous about school?" "Yes, but also ready." "We're going to be okay, Maya. We found our voices. We won't lose them now." I smile and put my phone down. Sarah's right. We found our voices, and nobody can take them away from us. I look at my drawing of the family dinner with everyone solid and real. The girl in the 5th chair looks happy and confident. She belongs here. On Monday, I'll start my 2nd day at Riverside Academy. I'll continue building my friendship with new kids who might understand art and creativity. I'll learn new techniques from new teachers. And in 6 weeks, I'll find out if a panel of judges thinks my art is as special as Mrs. Peterson and Dad believe it is. But win or lose, I'm not invisible anymore. I'm Maya, the girl who sees the world through artist's eyes and isn't afraid to show others what she sees. I pick up my pencil and start a new drawing. This one shows a girl standing at the edge of a cliff, not scared, but excited. Below her, a new world spreads out like a map waiting to be explored. The girl has wings made of pencil marks and paintbrush strokes. She's ready to fly. January 3rd. Arrives cold and bright. My first day at Riverside Academy. I stand in front of my new bedroom mirror, wearing the clothes Mom bought me for my fresh start. I look the same on the outside, but inside I feel different. More solid, more real. At breakfast in our new kitchen, everyone seems nervous. The kitchen is twice as big as our old one, with granite counters and fancy appliances. But it doesn't feel like home yet. Remember, Mom says, packing Jake's lunch in his new lunchbox. This is a chance for all OFIS to make new friends and new impressions. Maya, the art teacher here is supposed to be excellent, Dad says, reading something on his phone. Mrs. Chen has been there for 20 years. Very well respected. My stomach flutters. What if Mrs. Chen isn't like Mrs. Peterson? What if she doesn't see what Mrs. Peterson saw in my art? Jake pushes his scrambled eggs around his plate. What if nobody likes me here? What if I don't get a good part in the spring play? Chloe worries, checking her makeup in her phone camera. What if I'm invisible again? I think, but I don't. Say it out loud, because I know now that I'm not invisible. I just have to remember how to be seen. Dad drops us all off at school. Riverside Academy looks like something from a movie. Red brick buildings covered in ivy, perfect lawns, students who look like they stepped out of a catalog. Good luck, kids, Dad says as we get out of the car. Remember, this is our chance for a better life. The main office gives me my schedule and assigns me a student guide named Emma. She has short red hair and paint under her fingernails, which makes me feel hopeful. You're the new art student, Emma says as we walk down the hallway. Mrs. Chen told me about you. She's really excited to meet you. She knows about me? Your old teacher, Mrs. Peterson, called her. She said you're incredibly talented and that you just entered some big state contest. My heart swells. Mrs. Peterson is still looking out for me, even from far away. Emma shows me to my first class. English with Mr. Rodriguez. The classroom is bigger than any at my old school, with tall windows and comfortable chairs arranged in a circle instead of for rows. Everyone, this is Maya, Mr. Rodriguez says when I walk in. She's joining us from across the state. 20 pairs of eyes look at me. I feel that familiar urge to disappear, to make myself small. But then I remember what Mrs. Peterson said. I know who I am now. Hi, I say, and my voice is stronger than I expected. A few students smile and say hi back. One girl with curly hair mouths, I like your sweater, which makes me feel a little less nervous. During lunch, Emma invites me to sit with her friends at a table near the windows. They're all artsy kids, painters, musicians, writers, actors. They remind me of Sarah, and for a moment, I miss her so much it hurts. So what kind of art do you do? Asks a boy named Marcus, who has blue streaks in his hair and paint stains on his jeans. Drawing mostly, I say. I like to draw real feelings and real situations. That's so cool, says a girl named Zoe who's wearing a camera around her neck. I do photography, but I'm trying to capture real emotions too. Like what kind of emotions? Asks another girl named Riley. Well, I think about how to explain it. I draw about feeling invisible sometimes, about what it's like to be quiet, in a loud world. Oh my God, yes, Riley says. I write songs about that exact thing. For the first time since leaving Sarah, I don't feel completely alone. These kids understand art as more than just pretty pictures or nice songs. They understand art as a way to make sense of feelings. My last class of the day is advanced art, with Mrs. Chen. The art room is 3 times bigger than the one at my old school, with professional easels, a pottery wheel, and supplies I've never seen before. Mrs. Chen is a small woman with kind eyes and silver hair pulled back in a bun. She wears a paint-splattered apron and has the same gentle smile as Mrs. Peterson. Maya, she says, walking over to me. Mrs. Peterson told me wonderful things about your work. She sent me photos of your contest entry. She did? She did. and I have to say, I'm very impressed. Your drawings show real emotional depth. They tell stories. Mrs. Chen shows me to an easel by the tall windows. I'd like you to work on a piece that shows how you see your new environment. Take your time, observe everything, and then create from what you feel. I look around the room at my new classmates working on their projects. Everyone seems focused and serious about their art, but not in a competitive way. More like they really care about what they're making. I start sketching the view from my easel. Students working, afternoon light streaming through windows, the quiet concentration that happens when artists create. But as I draw, I realize I'm not just drawing what I see. I'm drawing what I understand. I draw a girl standing at the edge of a group, not invisible this time, but choosing when to step forward and when to watch. She's holding a sketchbook, confident in her role as the one who sees and records the world around her. Very interesting perspective, Mrs. Chen says, looking over my shoulder. You're drawing your place in the world, aren't you? I think so, I say. That's what good artists do. They don't just draw what they see with their eyes, they draw what they understand with their hearts. Mrs. Chen pulls up a stool next to my easel. Maya, I understand you entered the state art contest? Yes. Results come out next month. How do you feel about it? I think about her question. Nervous, but also proud that I was brave enough to try. That's exactly how you should feel. Win or lose, you took a risk to share your voice with the world. After school, I walk to the pickup area where Dad is waiting. Jake and Chloe are already in the car, talking excitedly about their day. How was your first day? Dad asks as I get in. Good, I say, and I mean it. The art teacher is really nice, and I met some kids who understand art the way I do. That's wonderful, honey, Mom says from the front seat. I'm so glad you're making friends already. The art room is amazing, I continue. It has all these professional supplies and huge windows. Mrs. Chen said Mrs. Peterson sent her photos of my contest drawings. Mrs. Peterson really believes in you, Dad says, and I can hear the pride in his voice. At dinner that night, we all share stories about our first day. For the first time in months, I have real stories to tell too. The art room has these incredible easels, I say, and there's a dark room for photography and a kiln for pottery. Sounds like you'll learn a lot there, Dad says. And the kids in my art class are really cool. They take their art seriously, like it matters. It does matter, Mom says. Your art matters, Maya. After dinner, I go to my new room and unpack the gift Mrs. Peterson gave me before I left. Inside the wrapping paper is a beautiful leather sketchbook with my name embossed on the cover in gold letters. There's also a note. Maya, this is for all the new drawings you'll create in your new life. Remember, you're not invisible. You're the one who helps others see. Keep drawing your truth. Love always, Mrs. Peterson. I open the sketchbook to the first page and start drawing. I draw our new kitchen with our family sitting around the new table. But this time, I don't draw myself as invisible or barely there. I draw myself as solid and real as everyone else, contributing to the conversation, part of the family in a way that matters. As I draw, I think about the contest. Results will be announced in 4 weeks. Part of me is terrified I won't win. But another part of me knows that I've already won something more important. I've won confidence in who I am. I've won the knowledge that my voice matters. I've won the understanding that being different isn't a weakness, it's my strength. Whether or not my art hangs in the state capitol, I know now that I have something valuable to offer the world. I see things differently, and that's not something to hide. It's something to celebrate. I finish the drawing and look at it. The girl in the 5th chair looks happy and confident. She belongs here, in this new place, with these new opportunities. Tomorrow, I'll start my second day at Riverside. Academy. I'll continue building friendships with Emma and her creative friends. I'll learn new techniques from Mrs. Chen. And in 4 weeks, I'll find out if a panel of judges thinks my art is as special as Mrs. Peterson and Mrs. Chen believe it is. But win or lose, I'm not invisible anymore. I'm Maya, the girl who sees the world through artists' eyes and isn't afraid to show others what she sees. February 14th starts like any other Monday. I've been at Riverside Academy for 6 weeks now, and I'm finally starting to feel like I really belong here. Emma and I have become close friends. She reminds me of Sarah, creative, understanding, always willing to see past the quiet parts to who I really am inside. Any word on the contest yet? Emma asks as we walk to art class together. Results are supposed to come this week, I say, trying to sound casual, but inside, my stomach does flips every time I think about it. I can't wait to find out, Emma says. Your invisible girl drawings are so powerful. They made me think about times I felt overlooked too. In art class, Mrs. Chen has us working on a unit about expressing identity through visual art. My latest piece shows a girl surrounded by mirrors, but each reflection shows a different version of herself. Invisible, confident, creative, scared, hopeful, strong. Maya, this is really sophisticated work, Mrs. Chen says, studying my drawing. You're developing a clear artistic voice. Thank you, I say. I think I'm finally figuring out who I am. That's what art school will help you explore even further, she says. Art school? Haven't you thought about it? With talent like yours, you should definitely consider applying to art programs after high school. There are some excellent ones that would be perfect for your style. I've never thought that far ahead. The idea of studying art in college, of maybe becoming a real professional artist, makes my heart race with excitement and terror. Do you really think I'm good enough for art school? Maya, I think you're good enough for the best art schools in the country. After school, I take the bus home to our new house. As I walk up our curved driveway, I see Dad's car in the garage. He's home early, which is unusual for a Monday. Inside, I find Dad in the kitchen, pacing back and forth with his phone pressed to his ear. He's wearing his work clothes, but his tie is loose, like he's been running his hands through his hair. Yes, Mr. Harrison, I understand completely. Whatever you need, sir. Dad is using his most respectful work voice, the one he saves for really important calls from his boss. I start to head upstairs to give him privacy, but he sees me and waves me over with urgent hand gestures. Actually, Mr. Harrison, Dad says into the phone, Maya just walked in. Would you like to speak with her yourself? My eyes get huge. Why would Mr. Harrison want to talk to me? Dad hands me the phone, his face showing confusion and excitement. He wants to congratulate you on something, Dad whispers. Hello? I say into the phone, my heart starting to pound hard. Maya! Mr. Harrison's voice booms through the speaker, full of joy. Congratulations, I just heard the most wonderful news. What news? I ask, even though my brain is starting to put pieces together. About the art contest. I just got off the phone with Governor Martinez's office. They called looking for you, but when they couldn't reach your old phone number, they contacted me through your father's work information. The room starts spinning around me. The governor's office? Maya, you won. You won the entire state art contest. Your artwork will be displayed in the state capitol building, and you're invited to the official awards ceremony next week. I drop the phone. Dad catches it before it hits the floor. What's happening? He asks, his voice full of concern. But I can't speak. I can't even breathe. I won. I actually won the whole thing. Dad picks up the phone. Mr. Harrison, yes, she's here, just a bit shocked by the news. What's that? The governor wants to meet her personally? Yes, of course we'll be there for the ceremony. When Dad hangs up, he looks at me with eyes as wide as mine probably are. Maya, You won the state art contest. The governor of our entire state wants to meet you personally at an awards ceremony. I start crying. Not sad tears, but tears of joy and disbelief and overwhelming happiness. I can't believe it, I whisper through my tears. Dad pulls me into the biggest hug of my life. I can believe it. Your art is amazing, Maya. I'm so incredibly proud of you. Just then, Mom, Jake, and Chloe come through the front door with shopping bags from the grocery store. What's all the excitement about? Mom asks, setting down her bags. Maya won the state art contest, Dad announces, his voice filled with pride. Mom drops her grocery bags. Apples and oranges roll across the kitchen floor, but nobody cares about cleaning them up. Oh my goodness, Mom screams, grabbing me in a tight hug. Maya, this is absolutely incredible. Jake and Chloe stare at me like they're seeing me for the very first time in their lives. Wait, Jake says slowly. Like, the whole entire state? You beat everyone in the whole state? I nod, still not quite believing it myself. That's completely insane, Chloe says, her voice full of amazement. Maya, you're going to be famous. Not famous, I say, laughing through my happy tears. Just recognized. The phone rings again. This time it's Mrs. Peterson calling from my old school. Maya! Her voice is absolutely full of joy and pride. I just heard the news. Oh, sweetheart, I am so incredibly proud of you. Mrs. Peterson, I can't believe it actually happened. I can believe it. I knew from the very first moment I saw those drawings that they were something special. You told a story that needed to be told, and the judges recognized that. Will you come to the awards ceremony? I ask. I wouldn't miss it for anything in the world. That evening, our house feels like a celebration zone. Mom orders pizza from the fancy Italian place instead of our usual cheap pizza. Dad calls his parents, my grandparents who I hardly ever see, to tell them the amazing news. Maya's always been artistic, I hear him say proudly into the phone, and I smile. 6 months ago, he thought, drawing wasn't a real job. Now he's bragging about my talent to everyone who will listen. Emma calls after her mom sees the news announcement. Online. Maya, you're literally on the state government website. There's a picture of your invisible girl drawing and everything. Really? Really? You're going to be so famous at school tomorrow. I'm so proud to be your friend. The next morning, I wake up and for a moment, I wonder if maybe I dreamed it all. But then, I see the newspaper Dad left on my desk. There's a small article about the contest winners, and my name is right there in black and white. Maya Chen, 16 of Riverside Academy, won first place in the high school division with her series titled Invisible Girl. Her powerful artwork will be displayed permanently in the state capitol building. Maya Chen, artist, state contest winner. At school, word has already spread through the hallways. Kids I've never even talked to congratulate me as I walk to my locker. Teachers smile at me in the halls and say they always knew I was special. In art class, Mrs. Chen has made a huge banner that says, "Congratulations, Maya, state art contest winner," in colorful letters. Maya, she announces to the entire class, has shown us all what it means to find your artistic voice and use it to tell important, meaningful stories. The whole class claps for me. Emma beams like she won the contest herself. What does it feel like? Marcus asks. Knowing that your art will hang in the Capitol building where all the important government people will see it? I think carefully about his question. It feels like I matter. Like my perspective has real value in the world. It always had value, Mrs. Chen says gently. Now other people just get to see it too. That afternoon, Dad picks me up from school early. We're going shopping for something special to wear to the awards ceremony. Dad, I say as we drive to the mall, Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for not giving up on your art, even when I didn't understand how important it was. Do you understand it now? Dad pulls into a parking space and turns to look directly at me. I understand that you see things the rest of us miss. And I understand that the world needs people like you. People who can show us what we're not seeing ourselves. In the fancy dress shop, I try on several different outfits. Nothing feels quite right until I find a simple black dress that makes me feel both confident and artistic at the same time. Perfect, Dad says when I show him. You look like a real artist. I am a real artist, I say, and for the first time in my entire life, I completely believe it. As we drive home with my new dress, I think about the long journey from feeling invisible at family dinners to being recognized by the governor of our state. It seems impossible, but here I am. Dad, I say, remember when you said I was just there at dinner that night? Dad's face falls with regret. Maya, I'm so sorry I ever said that. It was completely wrong. It's okay. But I want you to know, I was never really just there. I was always seeing, always thinking, always feeling. I just didn't know how to show it yet. You showed us, Dad says softly. Through your art, you showed us exactly who you really are. Tonight, I'll call Sarah to tell her the incredible news. I'll start a new drawing in my beautiful leather sketchbook from Mrs. Peterson, and I'll prepare for the awards ceremony where I'll stand in front of important people and accept recognition for my art. But most importantly, I'll remember that I was never really invisible. I just needed to learn how to make myself seen. February 21st arrives bright and cold. The award ceremony is this afternoon at the State Capitol building. I wake up extra early and spend time getting ready. The black dress fits perfectly, and Mom lets me borrow her pearl earrings, the ones she only wears for special occasions. You look beautiful, honey, Mom says, helping me with my hair in the bathroom mirror. More importantly, you look confident. I feel confident, I say, and it's completely true. At breakfast, everyone is excited and nervous. Jake and Chloe are coming to the ceremony too, along with Mom and Dad. Even my grandparents are driving in from 2 hours away. I can't wait to see your art hanging in the Capitol building, Chloe says, buttering her toast. It's so cool that my sister is a real artist. My sister, not Maya the invisible one or Maya the quiet one, just my sister, the artist. The drive to the state capitol takes 2 hours. Dad rented a big van so Mrs. Peterson could come with us. She's been crying happy tears since she got in the car this morning. Maya, I have something special for you, she says, handing me a wrapped package. Inside is a beautiful leather artist's portfolio case with my name embroidered on the front, in gold thread. Every professional artist needs a proper portfolio, she says with a smile. Thank you for everything, I tell her, my throat feeling tight with emotion, for seeing me when I couldn't see myself. You always had the vision, Maya. You just needed someone to point you toward the right canvas. The State Capitol building is even more impressive than I imagined. It's huge and important looking, with marble columns and steps that seem to go on forever. People in suits walk up and down importantly, carrying briefcases and talking on phones. Inside, the awards ceremony is being held in a grand hall with high ceilings and crystal chandeliers hanging down like frozen fireworks. About 100 people are here, other contest winners, their families, government officials, and even some reporters with cameras. Maya Chen? A woman with a clipboard and a kind smile approaches our group. I'm Sarah Williams from the governor's office. We're so excited to finally meet you. She leads us to a special section reserved for winners and their families. I can see my 3 drawings, mounted on professional display boards with fancy lighting and small brass plaques underneath. Invisible Girl series by Maya Chen, age 16, I read out loud. These powerful drawings explore themes of adolescent identity and the universal experience of feeling unseen in family and social situations. Look over there, Emma whispers, pointing across the room. There's a news crew setting up. A reporter, with perfectly styled hair, is interviewing another contest winner, a boy who created a sculpture about protecting the environment. Maya, Mrs. Peterson says softly. Look who's here. I turn around and gasp with joy. Sarah, my friend Sarah, from my old school, is walking toward us with her parents, wearing a beautiful blue dress. Maya, she squeals, giving me the biggest hug. I can't believe we both won. You won the writing contest? First place in poetry. My poem about feeling invisible, remember? The one you inspired me to write. We both start crying and laughing at the same time. Two quiet, invisible girls who found their voices and won state contests on the same day. Ladies and gentlemen, a voice announces over the loudspeaker system. Please take your seats. The ceremony will begin in just a few minutes. Governor. Martinez takes the stage. She's a small woman with gray hair and a warm, genuine smile that makes her seem approachable despite being so important. Today, we celebrate the creative voices of our state's young people, she begins, her voice carrying clearly through the microphone. These students have used art, writing, music, and other creative mediums to tell stories that matter, to share perspectives that help us understand our world better. She talks about the importance of creativity and self-expression in society. She mentions how art helps us understand different experiences and brings people together. Our first place winner in the high school visual arts category has created a series that speaks directly to anyone who has ever felt overlooked or invisible, Governor Martinez says, looking right at me. Maya Chen, please come forward. My legs feel shaky as I walk to the stage. The audience applauds, and I can hear Dad whistling loudly from the family section. Governor Martinez shakes my hand firmly and poses for photos with me in front of my displayed artwork. Her handshake is confident and respectful, the way adults shake hands with other adults they take seriously. Maya, she says, turning to face the audience with the microphone. Your drawings moved everyone who saw them during the judging process. Can you tell us what inspired this series? I take the microphone, and for a moment I can't find any words. I look out at the audience and see my family, Mrs. Peterson, Emma, Sarah, all the people who helped me find my voice. I created these drawings because I felt invisible, I say, and my voice comes out clear and strong. At family dinners, at school, in the world, I felt like I didn't matter, like nobody really saw me. The audience is completely quiet, listening to every word. But making these drawings taught me something really important. I wasn't actually invisible. I was just waiting for the right way to be seen. Art became my way of showing the world who I really am inside. The audience applauds, and I see people wiping their eyes. What advice would you give to other young people who feel invisible or overlooked? Governor Martinez asks. I think about everything I've learned this year, about Mrs. Peterson's belief in me, about Sarah's friendship, about Dad finally seeing my art. Find your voice, I say confidently. It might be art or writing or music or something completely different, but find the thing that lets you show the world who you really are. And don't give up, even if people don't see you at first. Keep creating, keep trying, keep believing in yourself, because your voice matters. More applause fills the room. Governor Martinez presents me with an official certificate and a scholarship check for summer art camp. Maya, she says, shaking my hand again. Thank you for helping us all see more clearly. After the ceremony, there's a reception where people can look at the artwork up close. Strangers come up to me and tell me how my drawings made them feel. Your invisible girl reminded me of my own teenage years, one woman says. Thank you for showing that experience so honestly. A teenage boy approaches me shyly. I feel invisible sometimes too, he says quietly. Your art makes me feel less alone. This is exactly what Mrs. Peterson meant about art helping people feel understood. Dad appears at my side with Mr. Harrison, who made the long drive to attend the ceremony. Maya, Mr. Harrison says, I wanted to congratulate you personally. Your father talks about you constantly at work, and now I understand why. He does. He does. And after seeing your artwork today, I can see that you have a rare gift, the ability to help others see themselves in your work. A reporter approaches our group. Maya, I'm writing a story about today's winners for the newspaper. Can I ask you a few questions? She asks about my art, my inspiration, my plans for the future. For the first time, I talk about wanting to study art in college, maybe becoming a professional artist someday. Do you still feel invisible? She asks. I look around the room at all the people admiring my artwork, at my family beaming with pride, at Mrs. Peterson crying happy tears in the corner. No, I say with complete certainty. I don't feel invisible anymore, but I'm glad I felt that way. Once, because it taught me to see other people who feel invisible too. And maybe my art can help them feel less alone. On the drive home, we're all exhausted but incredibly happy. My certificate and scholarship check sit carefully in my new portfolio case. Maya, Dad says, looking at me in the rearview mirror, I owe you one more apology. For what now? Forever thinking drawing wasn't a real career path. Today, I watched you inspire people with your art. That's more important than any job I've ever had. Art might not always pay all the bills, I say, but it definitely pays the soul. Mom laughs from the front seat. Did you just make that up? I think I did. When we get home, I hang my certificate on the wall in my room, right above my art corner. Tomorrow, I'll start planning pieces for my summer art camp portfolio. But tonight, I want to create one more drawing for my Invisible Girl series. This one will show the same girl from my very first drawing, but now she's standing up from the dinner table. She's not leaving. She's finally ready to join the conversation. She has something important to say, and she knows the world is ready to listen. As I start sketching, I think about that Sunday dinner when my family called me nothing. I remember Dad's boss calling me personally to congratulate me, treating me with the respect of someone whose work matters. But the real change wasn't other people treating me with respect. The real change was learning to respect myself, learning to value my own voice. I was never really invisible. I was just waiting to learn how to shine. And now I know exactly how bright I can glow. The Monday after the ceremony feels different from any Monday I've ever experienced. I wake up and for a moment, I can't remember why everything feels so bright and full of possibility. Then I see my certificate hanging on the wall, and it all comes flooding back. I'm Maya Chen, State Art Contest winner. At breakfast, Dad is reading the newspaper and grinning. Look at this, he says, spreading the paper on the table. There's a photo of me and Governor Martinez standing in front of my Invisible Girl drawing. The headline reads, Local Teens Art Gives Voice to the Invisible. That's my sister, Chloe says proudly, taking a picture of the newspaper with her phone. I'm totally posting this. Can I have a copy for my locker? Jake asks. Some of the guys at school didn't believe me when I said my sister won a state contest. You can have as many copies as you want, Dad says. I'm framing one for my office. At school, everything is different. Kids in the hallway know my name now. Teachers stop me to congratulate me. Even the principal announces my win during morning announcements. We're incredibly proud of Maya Chen. His voice echoes through the school speakers, whose artistic talent has brought recognition to our entire school community. In art class, Mrs. Chen has set up a special display of newspaper clippings about the contest. She's also put together information about art schools and summer programs. Maya, I've been thinking about your future, she says, pulling me aside. After class. Have you considered applying for early admission to art school programs? Early admission? With your contest win and your portfolio, you could probably get into some excellent programs, maybe even with full scholarships. The idea makes my head spin. 6 months ago, I thought drawing was just something I did, alone in my room. Now people are talking about college scholarships and professional art careers. I don't know if I'm ready for that, I admit. You don't have to decide today, Mrs. Chen says gently. But Maya, you have real talent. Don't let fear hold you back from exploring all your options. During lunch, Emma can barely contain her excitement. Maya, you're literally famous now, she says, showing me her phone. The school posted about your win on social media, and it has like 300 likes already. It doesn't feel real, I say. It's real, and you deserve every bit of it. Emma looks at me seriously. Maya, you've changed since you got here. You were quiet when you started, but you're different now, more confident. I feel different, like I finally know who I am. Who are you? Emma asks with a smile. I think about her question. I'm someone who sees things other people miss, and I'm not afraid to show them what I see anymore. After school, I find Dad waiting for me in the pickup line, which is unusual. He usually doesn't get off work this early. Surprise, he says when I get in the car. I took the afternoon off. We're going somewhere special. Where? You'll see. We drive for about 30 minutes until we reach the university in the next city. Dad parks in front of a beautiful building with huge windows and modern sculptures outside. The art school, Dad explains. I called them this morning. They want to meet you. They want to meet me? Maya, you just won a state contest. Art. Schools are very interested in students like you. Inside the building, we meet with Professor Williams, the admissions director. She's a woman, about Mom's age, with paint-stained fingers and a warm smile. Maya, congratulations on your contest. Win, she says, shaking my hand like I'm an adult. We've been following the story in the news. She shows us around the art studios, huge rooms with natural light, professional equipment, and college students working on amazing projects. Everything smells like paint and creativity. This is our drawing and painting studio, Professor Williams explains. And over here is our digital arts lab. I watch the college students working. They look focused and passionate, like they can't imagine doing anything else with their lives. What would I study here? I ask. We have several programs. Based on your work, I'd recommend our fine arts program with a focus on illustration, or our art therapy program. Art therapy. Using art to help people heal and express themselves. Given the emotional depth of your contest entry, you might find it interesting. Art therapy. Helping other people find their voices through art, the way Mrs. Peterson helped me find mine. On the drive home, my head is full of possibilities I never imagined before. What did you think? Dad asks. It was amazing, but also scary. Scary? How? What if I'm not good enough? What if winning one contest was just luck? Dad pulls over at a rest stop and turns to look at me. Maya, remember when you felt invisible at our dinner table? I nod. You weren't invisible because you weren't talented. You were invisible because we weren't looking hard enough, but your talent was always there. How do you know? Because talent isn't something that appears overnight. It grows over time with practice and dedication. You've been drawing for years, getting better and better. The contest didn't create your talent. It just helped other people finally see what was already there. That evening at dinner, I tell everyone about visiting the art school. Art therapy sounds perfect for you, Mom says. You've always been good at understanding feelings. And you could help kids who feel invisible like you used to, Chloe adds. The important thing, Dad says, is that you have choices now. Good. Choices. After dinner, I go to my room and call Sarah. I haven't talked to her since the ceremony, and I'm excited to hear about her writing contest win. Maya, she answers on the first ring. I've been meaning to call you. How does it feel to Bephamus? Weird but good. How does it feel to be a state poetry champion? Like maybe I'm not as invisible as I thought. We talk for an hour about the ceremony, about our contest wins, about how different our lives feel now. Maya, Sarah says near the end of our call, do you ever think about what would have happened if we hadn't been brave enough to enter our contests? We'd still be sitting alone at lunch feeling like nobody saw us. Exactly. I'm so glad we took the risk. Me too. After I hang up, I start working on a new drawing. This one isn't part of any series, it's just forma. I draw a girl standing on a mountaintop, looking out at a landscape full of different paths. Some paths lead to cities, some to forests, some to places she can't even see yet. The girl has a backpack full of art supplies and a confident expression. She doesn't know which path she'll choose, but she's not scared. She's excited. As I draw, I think about everything that's changed since that awful Sunday dinner when my family called me nothing. I think about Mrs. Peterson believing in me, about finding friendship with Sarah and Emma, about Dad learning to see my art as valuable. Most of all, I think about learning that being different isn't a problem to solve. It's a gift to share. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Hi, Maya. This is David Chen from the State Youth Arts Council. We saw your contest entry and would love to invite you to be a youth ambassador for our program. Would you be interested in helping other young artists find their voices? A youth ambassador, helping other kids who feel invisible learn to shine. I text back, yes, I'm very interested. Another door opens. Another path appears. I look at my drawing of the girl on the mountaintop and add one more detail. A group of other young people hiking up the mountain behind her, following the trail she's creating. Sometimes the best way to find yourself is to help others do the same. Tomorrow, I'll talk to Mrs. Chen about the Youth Ambassador program. I'll research art therapy, programs. I'll continue working on new pieces for my portfolio. But tonight, I'll just draw and remember how far I've come. From invisible to invincible. From nothing to everything I was always meant to be. 6 months later, I'm sitting at our dinner table. The same new table in our new house. But everything else has changed completely. Maya, can you pass the potatoes? Jake asks, looking directly at me when he speaks. Sure, I say, handing them over with a smile. How was football practice today? Really good. Coach says I have a real shot at varsity next year. Jake actually waits for my response, like my opinion matters to him. That's amazing, Jake. I'm proud of you. Chloe is telling us about her starring role in the spring musical. Maya, will you design the program cover again? The drama teacher? Specifically asked for you after seeing what you did for the fall show. I'd love to, I say. What's the theme this time? This is what our family dinners look like now. Real conversations where everyone participates, where everyone's dreams and achievements matter. How's your youth ambassador training going? Mom asks, serving herself more salad. Really well, I say. This weekend, I'm running my first workshop for middle school kids who want to explore art. That's wonderful, honey, Dad says, and his voice is full of pride. You're going to help. So many kids find their confidence. Dad talks about my art and my future plans like they're the most important things in the world. Now, he keeps a collection of newspaper clippings about my contest win in his office at work, and he shows them to anyone who will look. After dinner, I help Mom with the dishes like I always have. But now it's different. Now it's our time to really talk. Maya, I want to tell you something, Mom says as we load the dishwasher together. What's that? I'm sorry it took us so long to see how special you are. You were never invisible to us. We just didn't know how to look. I know, Mom, and I understand now that being quiet doesn't mean being empty. No, it doesn't. It means you're thinking, observing, creating something beautiful in your mind. Later, I'm in my room working on a piece for my summer art camp portfolio when my phone rings. It's Sarah calling from her new home 3 states away. Maya, guess what just happened? What? I got accepted to the Governor's School for the Arts summer program. My poetry about feeling invisible got me a full scholarship. Sarah, that's incredible. I'm so proud of you. We did it, Maya. We both went from invisible to invincible. After we hang up, I think about Sarah's words. Invisible to invincible. It feels impossible that both things could be true about the same person. But they are. I look around my room at all the evidence of my transformation. My state contest certificate hangs on the wall next to acceptance letters from 3 different art camps. My leather portfolio case sits on my desk, filled with new drawings that show confidence and hope instead of loneliness and fear. On my bulletin board, I have photos from the awards ceremony, newspaper clippings about my win, and a letter from the Youth Arts Council welcoming me as their newest ambassador. But the thing I'm most proud of is a thank you card I got last week from a 12-year-old girl named Emma, who attended my first art workshop. Dear Maya, it says in careful handwriting, thank you for teaching me that being quiet doesn't mean I don't have anything important to say. Your art showed me that my feelings matter too. I'm going to keep drawing now. This is what Mrs. Peterson meant about art helping people feel less alone. I pick up my sketchbook and start working on a new piece. This one isn't for any contest or assignment. It's just for me to capture how I feel right now. I draw our dinner table with 5 people sitting around it. But this time, all 5 people are solid and real and engaged with each other. The girl in the 5th chair isn't invisible or see-through. She's leaning forward, participating in the conversation, clearly belonging to this family. But I add something new to this drawing. I show what the girl is thinking about, and in the thought bubble above her head, I draw other kids sitting alone at lunch tables, kids standing by themselves in school hallways, kids who look the way I used to feel. The girl at the dinner table sees them. She remembers being them. And she's planning to help them. As I finish the drawing, I think about the journey from that awful Sunday dinner when my family called me nothing. I remember Dad's boss calling me personally after my contest win, treating me with the kind of respect that adults show to other adults they take seriously. But the real change wasn't other people calling me ma'am or treating me with respect. The real change was learning to respect myself, learning to value my own voice, learning that being different isn't a weakness. It's a superpower. My phone buzzes with a text from Mrs. Peterson. Maya, I saw the article about your Youth Ambassador program in the education newsletter. I'm so proud of the young woman you've become. You're using your gift to lift others up. That's what real artists do. I text back. Thank you for teaching me to see myself the way you saw me. I couldn't have done any of this without you believing in me first. You always had everything you needed inside you, Maya. You just needed someone to point you toward the canvas. Tomorrow, I'll go to school where kids know my name and teachers ask for my input on art projects. I'll eat lunch with Emma and her friends who value my quiet observations and creative ideas. This weekend, I'll run my second youth art workshop, helping kids who feel invisible learn to express themselves through drawing and painting. Next month, I'll start my summer art camp, where I'll learn advanced techniques and meet other young artists from across the country. In the fall, I'll be a senior, applying to art schools and art therapy programs, planning a future I never could have imagined when I felt invisible at family dinners. But tonight, I'm exactly where I want to be. In my room, creating art, surrounded by people who see me and love me for who I am. I look at my drawing one more time. The girl at the dinner table looks confident and happy, but she hasn't forgotten what it felt like to be invisible. That memory is what gives her the power to help others. Sometimes the things that hurt us the most become the things that help us help others the most. I was never really invisible. I was just learning how to shine in my own unique way. And now, I know that my light is bright enough to help other people find their way out of the darkness too. I pick up my pencil and start sketching my next piece. A drawing of kids sitting in a circle, sharing their art with each other, all of them glowing with the confidence that comes from being truly seen. The invisible girl has become the one who helps others become visible. And that feels like the most beautiful transformation of all. Maya's journey from invisible to invincible shows us that sometimes our biggest struggles become our greatest strengths. She learned that being different isn't a weakness. It's a superpower that can help others find their own light. Where are you listening from today? Drop your city or country in the comments below. I love connecting with our amazing community around the world. If Maya's story touched your heart, please hit that like button to spread kindness and help other people who might be feeling invisible find this message. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories that remind us we all matter. Your voice matters. Your dreams matter. You matter. Click on the video appearing on your screen right now for another incredible story that will fill your heart with hope. Until next time, keep shining your unique light on the world.